Welcome to Total Fitheads.
Serious fitness for not so serious people.
Terrific. Can't see it, so.
You can't see it?
I mean, I'm this big.
I think we're good.
I feel like I look great.
You look great on a podcast. So, not eating, eh?
Not eating. I'm trying it. After all those...
You've definitely tried it before.
I've tried it before, I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah, but not like calculatedly. I feel like when you say you're fasting, you still kind of eat throughout the fast like little bits. You eat as little as possible, which is different than fully abstaining.
Right. What I used to do was eat nothing at all, period. Just never,
Not even just like, a little puff once in a while?
And then, no, because I couldn't stop. And then I tried another thing where I would eat half an open-faced sandwich. And looking back on it, that was one of the dumbest ways I could possibly do it. Because it was like, it was bread, it was like turkey salad or chicken salad or tuna salad or something like that. It was really salty. There was like some mayonnaise in there. It was like not the best way to do it at all. But Was
there a tactic to the open face?
One less piece of bread.
There really is a tactic. That's so funny. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it was also, what's even grosser was that I would have it like, what I would want is like a warm thing, because I was doing it in the winter, and I was in Connecticut, so it was freezing, and I didn't have any body fat, so I was freezing, and there was snow. So I would ask for like a turkey melt or a tuna melt or something like that, no cheese, just a hot sandwich, like a panini. And then I would just
Technically in Italian it's panino.
A panino.
Panini would be plural. A hot sandwiches is what you just said.
I wish I had hot sandwiches.
You love being pedantic. Anyway, go on.
Is that real? Is that true?
Yeah.
Do you parlay Espantaliano?
Very little. Oh.
Yeah. So anyway, I would do that, and I would like load it up with veggies because I thought that was okay. But then like hot lettuce is kind of gross. I don't know if you ever tried it. It's not my favorite.
Wow.
So it was gross, and I was like trying to solve a lot of problems. I was trying to solve a big problem in a way that I didn't really think through, or I didn't like just really think about it. I should have been having like warm grilled chicken or something,
Right. Maybe. Yeah, you should have just not been starving yourself.
Right.
Maybe. This is not a good way to start a conversation on fasting. He's doing it wrong, folks.
Right. I've made all the mistakes.
Well, that just feels like dieting more like or like calorie restriction. No.
Well, that would be like my normal day today. Like if I had to weigh in on Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday would be like that. But then Thursday, Friday would be just nothing at all.
Jeez.
So that is real fasting, right? Fasting is starving. Fasting is starvation.
So during Thursday and Friday, did you stop being hungry at all? It never switched over to
dying. Because we'd work out.
Oh.
We'd work out, and then Thursday we'd have like a regular practice, which is a little this, a little that, and then Friday we would just do a straight up sprinting practice.
Oh no.
We'd go into a gym, a basketball court, put on a couple of sweats, crank up the heat, and just do sprints. And that was it. Or, side shuffles, or, you know what I mean?
Was that what it
really like a fun way to break it up.
Circus?
Yeah. Or like the grapevine or karaoke, where you switch your hips as you're running sideways.
Yeah. Silly looking athlete things.
Yeah.
So, did you ever lift weights fasted?
Yeah, a little bit, but actually no, I don't think we would do like sort of a light lift, but we wouldn't do our lifting program was in the off season.
Okay.
We'd go to the gym, the weight room, but a lot of us would just get on the ellipticals or whatever, just sort of be miserable.
This is fasted cardio before it was super cool in the 2020s.
Yeah, fasted cardio, contemplate suicide cardio, you know what I mean?
Well, at least you had your brothers with you.
Yeah, it was fun, but you couldn't see them because everyone pulled their hoods up and like squinched their thing, so it was just a little like, hey guys, what's going on? Because you needed all that heat.
That's such a stereotype, yeah. You guys did that.
You need the heat on your head. Well, I never did this, but a lot of guys did it, was you'd put a ski hat on and then a hood. Oh. That was disgusting. That was gross. I thought
the trash bags? Yes, no?
Trash bags, not so much. You don't. It didn't. You can't really control it very well. You sometimes like you sweat too much when you really shouldn't, and then you like really mess yourself up. So I never like messed around with those. Plus, we would have hydration tests anyway, and so you sort of had to do it the natural way, I guess. I don't know.
Not the unnatural way of plastic bags.
Feels unnatural, or felt unnatural.
So I'm surprised that, I mean, what that says to me is that you're not switching into fat burning mode, because then you'd be fueled by fat, you would not feel so hungry, and you wouldn't feel zonked, you know?
All the time.
Yeah, so, I mean, I guess, like, the demands of your cardio was well beyond the fat burning type of low
low intensity.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing that I'm interested, like, we never really did that. I think because the way our wrestling practices were set up, it was just so intense, and you felt like if you weren't dripping with sweat or like breathing as heavy as you possibly could, it wasn't like an actual workout. Whereas now I know a lot of bodybuilders do low intensity for half hour 45, and they have that, you know.
Borstein's all about it. He's like, don't waste your energy and your recovery on cardio that you can't really truly track. It's like, just count your steps. Add more steps if you need to lean out.
He also he does your ingredient meals. So I think that has a big, that's a big part of it.
Or maybe it's just we believe that that's a big part of it, so it works. I always wonder that.
Yeah. I know. I especially after talking to so many people about how yes.
Yeah. But, okay, so you're not doing, like, steady state whatever. It's pretty intense, so then you hit the wall and just feel awful.
We would hit a wall. It would be so bad. You just go home and, like, I ended up going to bed at, like, 8 o'clock because I would be, if I stayed up any longer, I'd be too hungry and I wouldn't have the willpower to resist eating anything. So I would sleep, like, a ton. My sleep was never...
At least you're recovering a little, or not good sleep?
Sleep was fine. The only tough part about the sleep was we'd have to wake up super early. And so my circadian rhythm was way off because I wouldn't ever go to bed. I usually go to bed at 12, wake up at 9, and now suddenly I'm like on this crazy whatever, go to bed at 8, wake up at 5 or 6 because we had to get the bus to the thing to, you know what I mean?
Oh, you would be doing stuff that early.
Yeah,
right?
So it was really not ideal. But we slept, I slept fine. That was one of my questions. For fasting now. So old fasting was not. It was just sort of like what you did, and everybody did it, and we were all miserable and mean to each other, and very short fuse.
Yeah.
My God.
Well, see, and that's what I felt before I discovered fasting, was that I was mean and short fused and hangry, cranky all the time when I was
person. You mean
grazing? Yes. I'm not kidding. I feel like a solid 5 years of my life, I just didn't even talk to my mom on the phone because I was too busy being hungry.
Too busy snacking.
Couldn't handle it. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what I was forced, spoon-fed as a female in America, that you need to eat as little as possible and don't ever break. You got to keep that metabolism revved, which is a lie. Absolutely made up, but yeah, grazing did not work for me. I was just never satisfied. And so then the stopping of eating is what I was saying. It helps me switch into not being fueled by carbs, turning to fat burning, and then I'm focused and not constantly thinking about eating and being angry. I think there's a more calculated way to do it than what you were doing, right? There's a reason why, I opened our fasting podcast eating, which usually I'd fast for another 3 hours after this, till like 8 p.m. But I had to work out today because we're headed somewhere after this. And so when you're like, oh yeah, we'd work out during a fast, I rarely do that. Although that's because I rarely do cardio. I'll do fasted cardio, but if I'm lifting, I'll lift and then eat, or eat before and lift.
And then just no cardio.
Yeah, no cardio.
What's his name was saying that he wakes up, cardio first thing, goes home, eats breakfast, goes back and lifts.
Yeah.
Heavy lift. That's the more normal.
These days.
Yeah.
And I've heard counter arguments to that sure, you're fueled by fat, but it doesn't mean you're burning more fat. It's still calories in, calories out, which I don't believe because I've seen on my levels that...
You going no sticker?
Yeah, I'm going no sticker.
Whoa! That's like on an iPhone with no case on it.
Yeah, just got a death wish. Something's going to go wrong. I don't know, I just feel like I look more like a cyborg. I feel bad though because I love Levels as a company and their mission, but I also just want to show off the battery and the
I know. I wish it was like blinking.
Yeah.
You know, that would be so
like
sick.
An antenna that I can pull out. I feel like Inspector Gadget.
Or like
Gadget,
a cord, and you're like, sorry, I gotta just charge my...
Can we make this more intrusive to my day-to-day? So anyway, I don't think it's calories in, calories out. I do think meal timing and, well, since we're only talking about fasting here, meal timing has a huge effect on how your body is functioning, how much you're burning, how good you feel. So, I mean, my experience with it was that I read online that you didn't have to eat breakfast, and then my head exploded.
But I was told...
It's the most important meal of the day. And I never wanted to eat breakfast. It was forced upon me from early childhood. You know, we'd have to go to school at 7 a.m. I'm not hungry. But we would eat because that's what's good for you. And so then I stopped doing that. And
what was your favorite breakfast?
Great.
Do you even like breakfast?
No, I don't know. I would eat cereal too. Good Lord, that's terrible.
What's your favorite cereal?
They don't make it anymore. I know. You shouldn't see his face, podcast listeners.
So you have like his weird... I never knew your like breakfast was your like mortal enemy.
They stopped making it because I bombed the company. No. You heard of it. It's not even like this weird obscure thing. You're probably going to be surprised that they don't have it anymore.
Kicks.
No.
Tricks.
No. They only make rhyming cereals. Rice Krispie Treats cereal.
Oh, that one was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know they don't make it anymore?
No.
Petition to get them to start again. I will stop fasting. Just kidding. I'll eat it at 9 p.m.
Hey, Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Get your breakfast game out.
Hit me up. I can eat a whole box in one sitting.
Do you like Rice Krispies Treats? That's amazing.
What the heck? No. I mean, they're just like gooey, weird squares.
But you like the cereal.
Yeah. It was so good. And all the chunks were different sizes and you didn't know what you were going to get.
Oh, that's funny.
It was just a mess.
That's amazing.
It made the milk delicious. What was your favorite cereal?
I like that one. Cinnamon Toast Crunch was obvious. That was the best one, just obviously. Reese's Peanut Butter Puffs was really good. I really like peanut butter. And unfortunately, shout out Levels, I figured out peanut butter is really not that great for my...
Oh, really? It's so fatty.
Food.
That's surprising. What a bummer.
Maybe it's the, like, regular sugar.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you had, like,
I don't know if I tried.
Artisanal Whole Foods ground, where you make it yourself. Oh. That's interesting. Or you might be allergic to peanuts. Just like slightly intolerant.
I thought about
because
that
I've heard that will spike your glucose. It's the number one allergen, right? So it could be. Turns out I am.
Really? Slightly?
Yeah. Like a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10 is how they do it. So if I have a lot of it, it kind of builds up and then I feel it, but it's not like, someone opens a bag of peanuts in an airplane and then I start coughing. Because that's horrifying. Can you imagine having that bad of an allergy?
My buddy has that. We went to, maybe not that bad, but not like EpiPen bad, but like a step under that.
Yeah.
And like he's never had a Snickers because he'll die. And we were out one time doing a pub crawl, bar crawl, and this girl, we was in Washington, D.C., and this girl who was a local was like, I know all the spots. This bar is amazing because you can get cheesecake. Let's all get some cheesecake. And so we did because we were all drunk. Yeah. And she's like, I want to feed you some to my friend.
Oh,
and he was like, Did that have, is that peanut butter? And she's like, yeah, it's delicious. And he was like, okay.
Oh, no.
And we had a moment, and I'm like, should I be Googling, like, hospital? And he's like, no, just let me... No, I got it. It's fine.
What?
And he was like, no, my mouth is just a little fuzzy right now. Or, like, you know,
Itchy
tingly.
or, yeah.
Itchy.
Oh,
but he was
that's
like,
so
I caught it
scary.
before I swallowed it.
Yeah.
So he was fine.
Whoa.
Yeah. But he was like, if I had swallowed it, then yeah, we would 100% have to go straight to the hospital.
That's crazy. Whoa.
So she almost murdered someone.
Yeah, well,
long story long, she was attempted murder.
but it's delicious.
Manslaughter. Manslaughter? What's an
Involuntary
inadvertent?
manslaughter. Not pre-calculated.
Via cheesecake. There are worse ways to go, I guess.
Third degree? That's what that is?
Something like that.
I was on a
Once
plane once, and they had to not take off, and someone ran off of the plane because someone opened a Sharpie on the plane, and she had a severe allergy to whatever the crap is in the Sharpie.
The markers?
Yeah! Never heard of that before. That's scary too, right?
Brutal.
They should make an announcement. Don't open Sharpies on this plane, please.
Do they, like, open the airplane door again? Because you know they never do that.
Oh, no, I don't know. She had to take off. I imagine.
Dang.
Yeah, they're letting her out.
Well, hopefully she survived. Shout out to the Sharpie lady.
Word. Man, I would have announced it everywhere I went. Conference rooms, excuse me. Just like...
If anyone's planning on writing, hello, my name is.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you not to.
Can't be hitting those social mixers or, you know,
Right.
no speed dating for that guy, for that girl.
No. Anyway, that's also, I've heard, you could potentially crave what you're allergic to, which I've heard that for a while, and then just recently heard that
Well, I
it
feel
might
that
be because...
I've always felt that way with girls, obviously. But
shout. Because that spike of blood sugar kind of feels like energy, and that's maybe why you would also crave something that's actually bad for you. I don't know. Anyway, bummer about you should try cashew butter or almond butter.
I tried almond butter. Actually, didn't try it. I tried it as a replacement, and I loved it. So
you didn't want to test it? La 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 la.
You know?
Can't tell me.
It's like they were all saying with COVID, like if we just stop testing, we'll have so few.
0 cases. That's a good point. We'll all be fine.
But yeah, the almond butter was terrific. Cashew butter is really good. But then I always wondered, like, do I like this, or is there just a ton of sugar, and I like sugar?
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, well, I started having sunflower seed butter.
Oh.
Which...
I didn't know that existed.
Yes. And I started having it because it has polyunsaturated fats, unlike the rest of the butters that have unsaturated fats, which it's slightly better, basically, for your cholesterol.
Fair.
But it tastes like sunflower seed. And now I say that to you, and you're like, I don't know what that is, whatever. But when you taste it, you're like, oh my goodness, you know exactly what that is.
I know what sunflower seeds are.
I mean, I guess, but it's just...
I've quit smoking cigarettes before. I know what sunflower seeds are. I would just have like rah 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 rah. You know, just constant full mouth of sunflower seeds.
Your cholesterol went down for 2 reasons.
Just like licking the salt off of it.
But I started doing that too because I'm also allergic to the same amount, like a 2, maybe a 1, to almond butter. And so that's a common replacement, and you realize I can't do that either. So you might have like...
How'd you find out all these allergens?
Oh, I went to the allergist, and they did a whole grid on my back.
Yeah.
It was pretty nutso. Oh, and then they took blood too. So I've done the scratch one, I've done the blood one.
They do your back? I think they do your
It was
forearms.
so much that they did my back twice. I had to come back a separate day, and they're like, all right, the grid's cleared up, we'll do it again.
They need a bigger canvas.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm watching Lucas doing the back flat spread.
Yeah, so no almond butter, no peanut butter. Sunflower seed butter, that's a weird one.
You can try it at my place. You won't have to commit to a whole
I'm down.
jar. I just got the unsweetened kind too. I might not like it because I've been eating the sweetened.
I feel like, well, that's a good sort of segue. Now I do feel, and I felt back when I used to do fast, you know, my sort of pseudo fast, whatever you want to call it, starvation fast. And now last week I've done a couple times where I haven't eaten anything all day, and I've eaten a big dinner, or I haven't eaten anything for a day, and I eat a big lunch the following day or something like that.
Oh, you did a whole...
But the cravings are...
All 3 meals skipped? That's impressive.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it sucked. It really did. And so I had a bunch of questions. Mm-hmm. I guess I was about to ask about cravings, but before that, how long do you have to go before it doesn't suck, or does it just suck every time?
Yeah, what's tough with me is that I would not still be doing it if I wasn't immediately rewarded. Like, I had that moment of, wow, I don't want to eat breakfast, now I don't have to. And that was already great. There was no cravings. I would just eat at noon instead. But then I kept pushing it later and later. So I never had that moment of, oh, I better get better at fasting. I got to get through the suck to get to the rewarding, because that certainly happens in a lot of things in health and fitness, right? Working out, it sucks, but then you'll get to the point where it feels great.
Right.
You have to get over the hump. And I even said that that might be the case about my plant-based diet, where my body just needed to get used to it or whatever, and I'm still not sure about that.
We used to say that a lot. When you would start wrestling season, you'd start your diet. It was the first couple of days, your diet. The first couple of days, your stomach would shrink, air quotes.
Sure.
Is that real or not? Who knows? I think in reality, your mind's version of your stomach.
Right. Well, your body wants to get back to homeostasis. It wants to be okay. It wants to fight to feel good. And so, yeah, it will get used to whatever you throw at it. So I will say, if it sucks at first, that's a you problem. Keep going. And I tested out, I really liked doing the window of eating, I started out with that 16-8, which is, for anybody who doesn't know, you don't eat for 16 hours. You have a window of 8 hours where you do eat. Don't eat for 16, eat for 8.
What was your 8?
And, I don't know, I started eating around noon to 8 p.m. and then didn't eat till noon the next day. But then I kept extending that, and then it was, you probably have heard me rant about this in any other episode or other things on my fitness channel, but now my eating window is like 2 hours, 3 hours maybe. That's just as long as it takes me to get down my entire calorie amount. I did an experiment with 24 hours twice a week. Did not like that as much.
Why?
It was harder for me. And I still do, once a quarter. Ugh, I sound like such a tool. Once a quarter I'll do a 48-hour fast.
You might want to push it.
Indeed. So that means I won't eat all day, skip dinner. That's the hard thing for me. Because I just look forward to dinner at night. I work all day, I don't want to eat, but I know that dinner is coming. To not know that dinner is coming, it's tough, but I just go to sleep, I get through it. You've done that.
Right.
And then I wake up and I'm not hungry, so then I just keep fasting until that dinner that evening.
I find that I've never really woken up and been hungry.
Yeah.
And I find that when I've sort of explained that to people, they're like, oh, weird, I'm always hungry. And then the next morning, they're like, oh, I just decided I wasn't. I don't think it's a natural thing to wake up and eat a short stack of pancakes, 7 scrambled eggs, 8 things of bacon.
And I don't know. I'm willing to say that there are people very different than us that do need freaking breakfast. And there's a reason why so many people say it is the most important meal of the day.
Yeah.
So
a balanced breakfast. That's what I always wonder about.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
breakfast.
Part of a balanced breakfast. It's like a bowl of cereal and
then 2 glasses of orange juice and a glass of milk.
And an avocado and a stack of waffles and a bottle of whiskey. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, so I don't know if you mean if it doesn't work for you, push through the suck, but it still may not be right for you. That's what I want to say. If you get over if you feel like you should be over the hump and it's still not serving you, then stop doing it. And I say that about anything, not just fasting.
But how long is the push? A day, 2 days, a year?
I always say much longer than you're thinking, and then when you hit that, go longer.
Great.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough, but you'll know when it is serving you. Because you'll freaking wake up and be productive and feel great. Oh, and for a while there I was using bulletproof coffee to help with hunger too. So once I hit 12 o'clock and I wanted to keep extending, that's when I'd have a bulletproof coffee, and that definitely shuts off any sort of hunger. It's only fat, so it has MCT oil, butter. Then I just started having straight to the face MCT oil, which is
That's the secret.
It's exactly what you think it is. It's gross and oily and bleh.
Now, is
But
it the oil or is it the coffee? Because I found the coffee helps with my hunger.
Oh yeah, that too. Wake up, have caffeine. I feel like I could never have to eat if I just like continually drink caffeine.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a stimulant, and I definitely shut that off. 3 is probably the latest I'll ever have caffeine.
Really?
Yeah. What about you?
Whatever.
Whenever?
But I found
You're
that
one of those espresso after dinner people?
I've done it. I don't
Psycho.
mind it. I think it's very lovely. But I am a little worried now because so many other people have been like, yeah, I can't do it after 3 o'clock. I'm a big dork. You know what I mean?
Well, and I just learned this because Christine's doing all this nutrition coaching stuff, and she found this within her research. There are different types of metabolizers of caffeine. And so some people are just completely unaffected, and there's some people like me who think they're on crack. And so, yeah, those people that are having espresso after dinner, it's probably because they're just different than my makeup.
I think you just have what you have. My grandma always used to have a shot of peach schnapps after a big meal.
Your grandma was Arnold Schwarzenegger?
To help you digest. So she's from Austria.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, is that a thing? Or are you guys just doing shots? Like, what? Anyway, so she was, yeah.
Because I need help digesting. While I'm fasting, too.
Exactly.
Want to get something now?
But the coffee, like, if I wake up and I skip breakfast, I'm not hungry. Then around lunchtime, I sort of start to feel hungry. Then if I have a cup of coffee...
Oh, yeah, you can extend it for sure.
That's a couple hours. Bought myself
but
a
I
couple
love that
hours.
morning coffee. And by that I mean pre-workout. I've been doing pre-workout in the morning.
Which one? C4?
Yes, obviously.
No.
The one without creatine. Because somehow that seems more dangerous than all the rest of the garbage in it. It's because I don't lift after it. I'll if I'm walking, I'm like, okay, this is fat burning fasted cardio, and I'll have C4. But that's like maybe a couple times a week, maybe. The hardest part is the
tingles, the face tingles. Your eyeballs get a little itchy.
Yeah, I had to rip my face off.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Ugh.
All right, well, I get headaches.
You do?
Yep. What is that?
Are you drinking enough water?
Yes.
For sure.
For sure.
Okay, well, somebody else perhaps may not be, so that could be your answer, other person listening.
Bill.
Do you sleep enough? Bill with a migraine.
I definitely get headaches, and I wonder if it's a real like red alert, or if my body's just like, oh my god, this idiot, he's not eating. Let's just throw him a headache. See if
flipping all these switches.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah, right. Yeah, that may be an over the hump thing, but I really hesitate to say, yeah, just lean into the headaches.
Yeah, I know.
Oh Lord, and for sure you feel like it's connected to fasting. It's not from anything else because you won't get headaches otherwise.
No, and I know that when I don't eat, they come.
That may be that you're, carb centric and your body is like, give me carbs, please. But I don't know, that's tough. Yeah, there's this thing called the keto flu. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's talk about metabolism in general. When you're in a normal, standard American eating style, you are fueled by carbs because you're constantly eating, and so your body uses that energy source, which is the easiest one. It's also the one that you'll use if you're doing high-intensity stuff, if you want to lift heavy, you're crossfitting, carbs is generally what you'll be burning. Now, if you end up not eating for a while, or you're low intensity, like running a marathon, your body has to switch over to another fuel source that isn't as quick, but lasts a whole lot longer. You have days worth of fat on you that could just last if you can tap into it. But since most of us have been burning carbs and using that as our fuel source, to switch over to the fat is really hard. And so to figure that out, your body goes through this thing that they call the keto flu, because when you're burning fat, it's called ketosis.
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 Ketosis. Ketosis?
Ketosis!
Sounds like a Mortal Kombat guy. Ketosis wins.
And so the keto flu feels like a flu, right? And you have bad breath and you feel headachy and, oh yeah, maybe you're just getting the keto flu. I don't know.
How long does it normally last?
Yeah, I don't know what the norms are on that, but it's like you have to sort of get your body to stop freaking out and start burning fat, and it's like a crappy transition period. And then when you come out of ketosis and go back to burning carbs again to get back into ketosis and burning fat, it'll happen again. But the more you do it, the less it'll happen, and then you can seamlessly switch from two different fuel sources, carbs or fat, depending upon what your body needs. And that is called metabolic flexibility, and I'm a huge fan, and why I love fasting.
And it's a relatively new concept, don't you think?
Yes. Yeah, no, it's super new and trendy, and I am jumping on the trend.
Well, you've tried it, and it worked. You could tell the times it would take to switch from one to the other to get in or out of ketosis.
And I can tell by watching my blood glucose levels, which is carbs, and then pricking my finger to test my ketone levels, which is fat burning. And so I actually made a video where I tried to get in ketosis as fast as possible. I ate a bunch of chocolate cake and 3 servings of pasta and a mango, so just a bunch of carbs. And then I saw how fast I could burn through all of that and get back to fat burning.
Did you make this at home, or did you go to a restaurant? Because I feel like that would be like the perfect order.
No.
and a mango. And the girl's like, oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I'll see if they have one, you know.
It actually just sort of came naturally because I was shooting a music video in slow motion where I caked myself in the face, and then I had all this chocolate cake, and so I used it for my fitness channel.
Naturally.
Obviously. So anyway, yeah, I think we've arrived at perhaps you could try really using the types of sensors I'm talking about, see if you can get into ketosis, and that might get rid of your headaches.
What are the best keto sensors? Blood, pee? Which one's better?
Oh, yeah. I use the finger prick one. I used to use the pee ones. They both work. One doesn't require you to stab yourself, but also the stab one doesn't require to accidentally pee on yourself.
Right.
Not that it's that hard or whatever.
What about, isn't there a breath one now too, or no?
I've used Lumen. I made a video about that too. I think it's kind of BS. I stopped using it because it felt like really easy to game the system, and so it felt like the sensor was too delicate, and so it really wasn't giving me the feedback I needed, and Levels just like blew them out of the water. So
Levels tells you.
Well, but Levels doesn't tell you your ketones, which is the fat burning one. It only tells you the glucose, which is the carb burning. But I imagine it's only a matter of time before it's telling me all of those things. And what I really want is cortisol, which is the stress hormone. I want to know when I wake up if I'm like sky high, like a lion is chasing me, or at night, does it drop down before I go to sleep, or I'm still stress bally. It would be cool to see a graph of that. Because right now all I have are labs that when I take that one snapshot of that moment,
right?
How stressed am I?
Medium.
Medium.
I always wondered about that, the breath thing with breathalyzers.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I swish around some Listerine and then immediately
or
blow
even
the
if you
thing,
swish around beer.
Yeah.
Immediately blow your,
I mean, that always seems, I don't know, not a great indicator of what was actually happening. Or
that's what you gotta
very
do.
Possible to, that's a much better system.
Dancing on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Huh.
Or at the very least, like swish around with some, like if I am hammered and I swish with some water, does that
make
matter?
a difference? Yeah.
Or does that make a difference?
We have blood alcohol calculators. We should test this out.
We don't have police grade ones, do we?
Well, that's true. Do you think
or
they're
do
better?
we? I don't know. That's my other question is.
Yeah. You've heard the penny trick, right?
You just swallow a bunch of pennies.
Yeah. You have them under
and then
your
they
tongue.
clink,
I don't
clink
know.
in your stomach.
I don't know if it works.
You put a penny in your mouth and then you blow and it
Yeah.
neutralizes whatever the breathalyzer picks up. Yeah. Is it a wives' tale? I don't know.
It sounds like a way to get really
Sean,
sick.
I guess.
Yeah. Or we could test it.
Also, putting money in your mouth seems real gross.
Terrifying.
Unless it's 100, obviously.
Who knows? Anyway, I'm a big fan of being able to switch into fat burning, because that is a part of when they say when you're fasting and you have that focus feeling, and like you're not craving anything and you're no brain fog. That's what's going on. You're being fueled by fat and not being constantly your brain poking at you like, hey, get more carbs before I run out.
Poking?
Yeah.
Like he's like elbowing. You know?
We have to draw the tiny little maxes in your head. Oh no, give him a headache!
Up, too late, he's drinking again. Yeah. So okay, well I'll pick up some testers, I guess. I don't love pricking myself.
The P ones work just fine, but you have to be pretty far into ketosis for it to show up.
Really?
I feel like. I mean, I don't know. You know what I should do is the P ones and the prick
P
ones
versus
together.
blood.
Although, even pricking my finger, the glucose, it gives you glucose and ketones. It's off. Like, I'll do them back to back and they'll be 20 different. You know?
Really?
Yeah, and it sucks because the strips are $1 each, and I'm like, ugh! Every time I do this, I'm like, is it worth $1? And then to do 2 back to back, like that cost me $2 to realize that the device sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there are techniques like wiping away the first thing of blood and taking the second, drop of blood, like making sure your hands are really clean, or wiping with alcohol to try and get like better sample. But the best way to get a blood sample is like a whole vial. Yeah, I know.
I'm not doing that.
Although I heard this because I just had a phlebotomist come to my home, because Levels is doing this now. I made a video about this. You can order a phlebotomist, get a blood test, and they just show up at your house, and in 15 minutes they take your blood and leave. And it's secretly just a vampire harvesting.
That's what I was going to say. It's a very clever marketing scheme, vampires. I'm very impressed.
I should have let you take it. No, and then your results show up in the Levels app. It's really cool because it's like so nicely designed, and they explain everything in terms of why I care about what this means for my metabolism. But the guy, because we struck up a conversation, I'm not going to sit there silently for 15 minutes. I made a new friend. And he was saying that the size and the needle makes a difference.
Oh my god.
So I often need the child needle, the pediatric ones, because no matter how much I try and lift, like freaking Stanimal, I got little veins. And he's like, no, we're not using the kids one because it's a better sample with a bigger needle. And so I'm like, well, so you get like different numbers otherwise, and so even taking vials of blood can be off. Which I can't wait for the future where none of my devices lie to me. And
they worked out all the kinks.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think we'll get there. Right now, this is for a diabetic. So all it's doing is telling a diabetic that you're really high, then that's dangerous. Or you're really low, that's dangerous. Not like the subtle changes of 10 versus 100, 200. I'm looking at a difference of 10, and that really matters to me, but it's not really, calibrated for that. But I think it'll get there, especially because people that aren't diabetic started using them. And
yeah, they say the wearables and biotech and whatever, that's like one of the fastest growing industries or whatever.
I mean,
and so if there's a lot of people...
Spagnola launched one.
Yeah, exactly. And it works great. And, if people want it, it'll be there. And I think the improvements are definitely, I mean, how old is a Whoop? How old is an Aura,
Yeah. They're on their
5
fourth
years,
one, so I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I think it'll probably get there.
Fourth Whoop, third Aura.
It's a real bummer that you can't, that none of the keto tests are very good, I guess.
Well, the blood one seems to be pretty decent. I'll see like a 0.1 change between a couple, so that's not like a big difference, but the difference between 0.4 and 0.5 mentally is a big deal, because 0.5 truly means you're in ketosis. That's what they say. That's like the threshold. And when you see a 0.4, you're like, but is it off?
Well, yeah, and if it's a tenth off, then it could be 0.3.
Right, exactly. and you're not even near it. But yeah.
Well, alright.
So, you've never had a fast where it served you. It felt good.
No, it always felt terrible.
Even skipping breakfast? Because that counts. If you skip breakfast, you're allowed to bring up how you fast in conversation.
I don't know, because then I would just eat like a huge lunch or a huge dinner. So I never like...
Sure.
In a sense, it felt like a fast for a day, but not a fast for the week. You know, yeah. I'm still getting the same... Maybe I'm moving them around timing wise, but if you take my week, total calories is still probably around the same.
Right.
Whereas in my brain, a real fast is like you just take something out and you don't replace it, and then you...
Well, if your goal is to lower your calorie intake, yes. But for me, it's not that. That's why I sit down and eat so much. The goal is to give my digestion a break and my blood glucose a chance to come down and be low for a while, which is much healthier than spiking up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there are different ways to look at it. You can just think of fasting as a way to cut out, the 300 calories that you would be eating with your avocado toast. Or, I mean...
avocado sandwich.
Open half of an open avocado sandwich.
Which is definitely not avocado toast.
Well, yeah, like I said, if you extend it longer, then you start getting into that like cell regeneration thing and looking at it from that perspective, not just like a weight loss thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it should be looked at as a hormonal thing, and seeing your insulin go down with your glucose going down and being more insulin sensitive because you're not just constantly piling food into your body.
Shoveling.
Yeah. My piling is very targeted. But I've also noticed that, eating before sleeping is really bad for your sleep. So that's why it was interesting that you slept well whenever you were not eating a lot.
Yeah. I slept fine. I mean, again, part of it is there's so many factors that go along with these things. So, like, yeah. I slept well because I was exercising as hard as I possibly could for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Twice a day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had no... That's why when people say, like, oh, I can't wake up early or I have trouble falling asleep, my initial thought is, like, boot camp for the Army.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if someone screams in your face, you can get out of bed first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And if you are sprinting every single step of every single second of it all day, I'm pretty sure you're going to be fine falling asleep at the end of the night,
Yeah, there's no one in the military at the end of the night being like, I'm an insomniac.
I'm just going to finish this chapter, I'm like, I don't think you will, So it's like, I can't, blah, blah, blah. I always, I take it with a grain of salt. Because I've done not quite as hard as they've done it, but I've had, the first step on that idea. And I'm like, yeah, dude, face hits the pillow and I'm out. Because I have no energy left,
Right.
So, I feel like the sleep is a little different. And again, it's like one of those things where there's a million factors that go into it.
I know, there's never just one variable.
Which is annoying, because that's what you want, because then you can figure stuff out.
Right. But then, I think about that too, and Dave Asprey's talked on it. He's like, well, if I change one variable at a time, I would not be able to test all of the options. I'd be dead by the time I got to anything that could help with my longevity. And so his plan is just to pile everything on, and then if it works... just stick with whatever that is.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
It's smart. But based on that, I do think that my window timing, I've shifted it sooner than... It used to be I'd eat from 9 to 11, and now it's more like 6 to 9. I think it'd be even smarter to maybe bring it earlier and have a bigger gap between when I stop eating and when I go to bed, but, it's, I guess, a balance of what... Yeah. What works for my career and my body.
Yeah. I wish I could just eat once a week.
Yeah, and a pill. We were talking about this in some other episode. I wish I remember who commented the Bachelor Chow. We were talking about we just want, a pill or whatever. And there's this episode of Futurama where he gets Bachelor Chow. And one of the fitheads pointed it out that it's just a bowl of whatever, and he poured gravy on it or something.
So gross.
But yeah, I'm down for that.
Well, it's so gross. But I'd also eat the same grilled chicken every day if I, you know what I mean, if I had it or whatever.
I mean, that's the special type of person that we are. Food. Caffeine, on the other hand, I would like a wide array, and I would definitely like to have it every day and never not want to need it.
Do you get the same thing?
No, that's why I switch in C4 only twice a week, so it still messes with me. And sometimes I'll do a fast from caffeine and go like a week without having any so that I can feel the effects again at 80 milligrams, because I oscillate between 80 and 150. Look, I'm not a normal person. We probably know that. Christine will have like 300 milligrams and feel nothing. And that's also kind of normal, right? They're like a cold brew from Starbucks, and just like a normal drink, is over 200 milligrams of caffeine. There's no way I could handle that. Sometimes 3, 4 even. I hover around 100, and that's calculated too. I know that my body could get used to it, but I don't want to have to.
If I get a cold brew from Starbucks or from somewhere else, it hits a lot harder.
Yeah, you feel it, right?
Big time.
It's a great day.
Big time.
You love everyone.
But also it makes me wonder, like, am I not making my coffee at home the right way? Because I would love that.
Well, then it'll go away, though, if you keep doing that every day. But yeah, Starbucks cold brew is specifically made stronger. Not Starbucks, but cold brew in general, because they expect you to put ice in it, and the ice will melt.
Right, and I don't have time for that. I just chugged it. Done.
Spit the ice out. So, yeah. And that's also why I do better with breakfast meetings. I feel like I like people more.
With the coffee?
Yeah.
Makes sense. What do you do about low energy or low perceived or real strength?
Yeah.
In terms of starvation,
yeah,
fasting.
I know. Because sometimes that will hit me like midday. Rise helped me a lot with this. I was, thinking it's either just in my head and I need to stop being weak, or that maybe I do need some afternoon caffeine, or what is going on here. Rise shows me that my specific schedule, I have like a slump right around when a normal person would work out, and I have a peak later in the evening when I'd like to work out, so it just sort of lets me realize that it's just give it time and you'll get past that feeling of low energy, because you'll get it back with your evening peak.
Give it time.
Give it time.
Minutes or hours, not days or weeks.
Right, yeah. Minutes or hours. Like, wait a little bit that day, you could potentially see an energy increase come back up. That's like a craving thing too, right? They say drink some water, wait 15 minutes, you're allowed to eat it, whatever you want, 15 minutes later, and by the time you get to that 15 minutes, you don't want it anymore.
I will wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Okay, 20 minutes. Oh no!
That's, I guess, my last one is I have cravings, and I'm like, oh man, I really want whatever, a bunch of those crackers or whatever.
So they're there at your house, that's another thing. You gestured to them as though they were in your presence.
They're within my ability to get them. Mm-hmm. So like I can walk to 7-Eleven and order a full bag of
crackers.
Doritos or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever the craving is. But I'm like, all right, no, you're right. I'll just wait, and then I wait, and I'm like, crackers.
And it's 15 minutes of thinking about that.
And it's an hour. It's way longer than whatever that theory is. So I wonder wholeheartedly about that. Like I wonder.
Yeah. Well, all of this is very personal, and stuff that we're saying may not apply to you. Oh.
Sucks. It's really tough too, because I'm like, oh, well, they say, but whoever they are, and whatever they're saying.
They are probably the same people that told me to eat breakfast. You're right.
Right. Milk. Gotta have that milk.
Well, I can't have almond milk.
So I don't know. It's hard. Especially if like they say and whatever they say doesn't apply to me, I find it very difficult, because I'm like, well, am I weird, or am I off, or do I have to figure out a new way of handling this problem, or
yes.
And if so, that's really annoying, because it'd be nice if someone else had this problem. They just told me what they did, and then I wouldn't have to do this.
Yeah, but you need someone with your specific biological makeup to then tell you. That's why it was interesting what the DNA company was saying in Kashif.
Mm-hmm.
Kashif? Khan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget how you say it.
That they were sort of matching people that had similar traits so that they could help each other out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's fascinating. Because, yes, everything in health now needs to be an N of one study. You can't trust anyone else's ideas because there's no one universal diet book. There's no one universal way to fast or work out. It's all based on you and your biological makeup. But if you could find someone that's pretty similarly made up as you...
Yeah. Then you can at least trade some educated ideas, educated guesses, or whatever. This worked for me, and if we're similar, this might have a better chance of working for you.
Because that's what we're doing now, basically, but it's the entire population. So now I'm trying to see what Stanimal eats and see if that works for me.
Right. I just have to do whatever he does.
Yeah.
Period.
Which is mostly flexing.
Shave my head.
All right, I'm in. If I have to, I'll do it.
If it works, it works. Move to Chicago.
We should try an extended fast, though. You know? Leanne Riley, she does 3 to 5 day fasts.
I know, she's insane.
My longest was 70 hours, and I PR'd my squat at the end of it too, by the way. Thank you.
But what do you do though? I get headaches, I have no energy, I feel like crap, I feel, you know what I mean?
You definitely won't. I am fully convinced that by day 3, you would not have that. And also, we wouldn't be sprinting around. We would be getting our steps in like Brian wants.
Just casually, just shuffling around like a zombie.
Yeah. Well, what do you do, though, socially? Because we're about to go to an event, and there's food and alcohol, and I certainly don't want to just stand around and talk to people. I want to be consuming. Hence, I lifted before this. I really do look forward to dinner.
Yeah.
You know, events. So it's got to be 3 to 5 days where you just are socially unavailable.
Losers. We should have done it in the beginning of March of 2020.
Oh, yeah.
No one's doing anything.
Yeah. We may have accidentally fasted and not knowing it. Although I do go to breakfast a lot, like breakfast networking events or whatever seem to happen, and I can get away with just having coffee.
Coffee, yeah.
Yeah. Well, although the type of people I hang out with are also fasting, and all we do is talk about fasting for the entire event, so...
Fasters.
Fasters. You meet up with the slowers at the same time having a stack of pancakes.
You bunch of fasturbators, you know what I mean?
Did you just come up with that?
Yes, I did.
That's so good. Oh, wow. You definitely
I would
use
be
that.
shocked if I'm the first person to ever come up with that.
Well, I really don't want to Google fasturbators. So we'll never know.
Because then the NSA guy like, oh my god. Yep, wait till you hear this one.
I think we should do an extended one. I'm just putting that out there. And I'll stab your finger throughout. We'll do it together. We'll hate each other. Yeah,
you could just lock me in a basement, and then that'll probably make things a lot more streamlined. You know what I mean? That's the best way I could probably fast. Chain me to a wall somewhere.
I've already lost my security deposit, so I guess like bloody fingernails in my apartment aren't gonna make a difference.
And I'll write my manuscript on the wall in my bloody finger. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I loved pancakes.
I'm a waffle guy.
But yeah, I've not done more than 70 hours. I don't know why I feel like
it's not
that's
fun.
Embarrassing for me. Like it should be longer. I also fast on traveling a lot. I think that's really helpful.
I think that is one of the one guy I knew who traveled more than anyone ever in my life combined. He was doing all over Europe to America, America to South America, boom, 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 no big deal. He had 2 suggestions. 1, drink a ton of water. 2, don't ever eat. Period. Until you get there.
Get there, right. There's never a good option in the airport.
Scrappy food, and being up in the air is messing with you so much anyway.
Mm-hmm. And the fasting, you'll just feel better whenever you land and be able to eat the local fare. How great. Yeah, that was definitely freeing because when I was grazing, I would pack all this food and make sure that I didn't have any time where I wasn't eating and slowing down my metabolism. And it was really stressful to plan all of that and then try and find something in the airport. Am I eating this beef jerky? How much sugar is in it?
Right.
You know, like
why is it
prepackaged
$17?
stuff. Yeah. That's not even exaggeration. Ugh, Burbank. But just the freedom of being like, I don't have to eat right now and just pass out on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then drink drink a ton of, usually stay incredibly hydrated.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, fine, figure it out. All right, well, I'm fasting. I think that was all my...
Do you think you were really, like, give it a shot?
Irritability, that was the other one I
yeah.
wrote down. And once or twice I recognized that I had some bad breath, and I was like, oh, it's probably keto.
Yeah, it's part of the ketosis, keto flu.
Get that bad breath keto, which is what, I mean, it's... Can you get more attractive? I'm irritable.
Hey, I haven't eaten.
Yeah. Did I ever say at my old office job, if I didn't want anybody to talk to me, I'd go out and get a tuna sandwich and have a black coffee, and then come back. Oh no! And I would get an onion bagel, tuna sandwich on an onion bagel.
Wow.
I'd be like, hey everybody, what's going on over here? You guys need any help from me? And they'd be like, no, go away. I'd be like, cool. Worked pretty well. Or so I thought. I'm sure no one even noticed because I was just just another trick of my brain to make my job more enjoyable, you know?
Oh, that's absurd. I'm trying to think. Oh, I use them kind of as a reset too. If I go off the rails.
Yeah. That's what happened to me yesterday. I went completely off the rails.
And it's not really, it's more of like just giving my metabolism a break again. I guess we already talked about that. But if I have like a cheat day that ends up in like being absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The next day, I know, because I can see on my levels, my glucose is like up here, hitting 100 when I wake up, which is like pre-diabetic. You can just give it a break. Don't eat because your body doesn't need it. You can see that you have plenty of energy in your blood at the moment. And then I wait till it gets down, and then I can eat again. Yeah, levels have been super helpful for that.
Yeah.
It's cool to see a graph of how great I feel. Like, I already sensed it, and now at least I can show you and be like, no, look, I swear it works, you know?
Give me a couple crayons. I'll make my own graph. I'll tell you.
I was like, are you eating crayons now? Oh, okay.
Crayons.
Yeah. Crayons?
God.
I can't believe this is the second episode that's come up.
What about pillows?
What about a pillows? I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you now. Pillows? What about them?
Pillows.
Yeah.
Bunch of lovely pillows. Howdy, pillows.
All right, let us know what you think about fasting in the comments. It also doesn't have to be extreme, as I'm saying 16-8 is great. Or just have breakfast a little later, like 11, instead of just dumping food in your body as soon as you wake up.
Right.
Or, another one that I should be doing is just have an early dinner so that you have that metabolism break before you go to bed, and then sleep low. That's what they say is healthy. If your graph is nice and low, sleeping low glucose is actually really great. The best sleep I ever get is when I'm fasting.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. The deepest sleep for the longest, it's always when I'm fasted.
Well, but they say...
It's a sign. What?
They say that sleep is just a debt. It's not a...
Oh, right. It's just a debt. It's not the quality of the sleep. Yeah, go back and
Anyway,
watch.
sleep low, sleep chariot.
Sleep low, sleep chariot. Oh, yeah. And go rate and review on iTunes. Because we love that. You guys are the greatest. We keep meaning to say this at the top of the episodes, and we don't.
Well, we'll get at one of these.
We will. And here's another... No, this is a special shout out to the people that make it this far. We're serious about doing an episode where we just read your comments, your reviews of the podcast, so let us know what you think. Say some things. Definitely give us the total number of stars that you can give. Is it 5?
5.
6 stars. Give us 6 stars on iTunes, and we'll see you next week.